What's going on, guys? It's Rob from Heroes Avenue. In this video, I wanted to give you guys my very late thoughts on Black Adam, as well as the whole Henry Cavill situation, because it has blown up in just the past few days. So, with that being said, I do want to give you guys a reason why I haven't posted since my last video. Soon after my last video, this little guy behind me brought home COVID from his daycare, so basically infected all of us, and I'm still feeling a little bit of the symptoms, but anyways, was able to watch Black Adam finally, and I wanted to give you guys my thoughts on it. So I'm going to give you guys a quick rundown of my things that I liked, the positives, as well as the negatives, and then just kind of go into everything that's gone on since then. That includes James Gunn. Yes. Oh, cool. Anyways, other things that have happened since then, James Gunn assumed control with Peter Safran as head of DCU, of the DCU now is what they're calling it, and Henry Cavill has seemingly doubled down on his future as Superman and potentially as a acting superstar. So we'll talk about that. But first, my thoughts on Black Adam. It was okay. It was okay. And, you know, I'm accused of liking a lot of the things that I watch, of liking almost everything I watched. And this was a movie where I was like, it was just okay. The movie is a little bit of a mess. Well, I shouldn't say a little bit. The movie was a mess. And it left a lot to be desired. But did I enjoy myself? Yeah, I enjoyed myself. It was a little bit of escapism. But let's get into the good first. First of all, the good, The Rock. You know, I think one of the biggest things going into this movie that I was afraid of was that it was going to be chock full of corny lines back to back to back. And to an extent, there were some corny lines in there, but I think the trailers made it off to be worse than they actually were. Because in the trailers, they cut up The Rock's dialogue to go back to back to back, and there was just corny line one after another, very predictable lines, and it just seemed like The Rock playing The Rock. And to an extent, at a lot of points in the movie, yeah, it felt like The Rock. But I do think that he was able to shine as an actor a little bit more so than in his other movies that I've seen him in. And I do think he did do a good job as Black Adam. And even his comedic timing was there at times, whereas it fell flat in the trailers. Like, for example, the kid, Amon, kept telling him to tell the enemies, tell them the man in black sent you, and he tried to do that early on, except he killed the guy. He threw him down from the building or something while he was flying, and I thought that was pretty funny. I thought some of the comedic timing from The Rock was pretty funny. I know it doesn't sound funny when I say it like that, but I thought The Rock did a pretty good job embodying the character Black Adam, and it's been a long time coming. I will say also the action was pretty awesome in this movie. They did use a lot of slow-mo. It didn't bother me, but obviously it was there in the trailers, and it was there times 100 in the movie. There was like slow-mo galore. And it didn't bother me. I thought it was a good stylistic choice. I was entertained, and the VFX was really, really good. Speaking of action, the JSA was pretty cool. I really did like the JSA, and I think the biggest standout of the JSA, a lot of people will say Dr. Fate. I'll talk about him a little later, but I think Hawkman was the shining standout in terms of action for the JSA, and I thought it was cool. I mean, some weird choices were made, and a lot of similarities and parallels to other superhero movies where the JSA is based out of, and just how they operate and everything. But overall, Hawkman was cool. I really enjoyed Hawkman. And lastly, the biggest positive I have was obviously the cameo. We got Henry Cavill back. We actually got him back, and it's not me speculating. You know, I've done dozens and dozens of video of me speculating. Is Henry Cavill back? Is he not back? He's officially back. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about his cameo later. That's about all I have to say in terms of the good. It was the action, The Rock is Black Adam, and the JSA was cool to see. The issues I had, first of all, the movie started off really wonky. It felt like a movie from like the mid-2000s or early 2000s. It was just like not the most appealing way to bring us into the world, I think. Maybe it's just me. I just was not invested. Off the bat, I just felt like, oh, this is boring. This is such a cliche. Everything just seemed so cliche with this movie. And it took me a while to really get into it, and I only did get into it when I started to see the movie pick up, because I was not invested in Amon off the bat. He just didn't seem... Whereas Billy Batson in Shazam, the way he was introduced and everything he was doing kind of intrigued me and wanted me to see more of him, Amon didn't do so much. He was... I'm not going to lie. A lot of people have said it online. I was just a bit bored with his story. It just seemed so overdone, especially given his circumstances and how dire his circumstances were in Kahndaq with intergang ruling. Just to see how, I don't know, just to see how brash and flippant he was with the rules and everything when this is supposed to be in a very oppressed place. I thought that it was a little bit overdone. And Amon wasn't one of my favorite characters, and I never got invested in him. I know who he becomes in the future, but I wouldn't mind if I didn't see any more of him, to be honest. I would like to see a focus on Black Adam and them fleshing out his character. Another thing, Amanda Waller. Why is she controlling or giving orders to Hawkman? Hawkman seems like such a hardliner in terms of good versus evil, hero versus villain. Everything is black and white with Hawkman, and I think that was a bit overdone because it really did not serve the character when you think about the fact that he's taking orders from Amanda Waller, one of the most corrupt people and leaders out there. So what is up with this? Hawkman couldn't figure out that Amanda Waller is... Yeah, Hawkman. You saw Hawkman. Hawkman couldn't figure out Amanda Waller was a shady person. Come on. It just didn't make sense. Lastly, one of the things that bugged me was Dr. Fate. He was extremely... Well, Dr. Fate was one of the most... the biggest things I was looking forward to in this movie, and they nerfed him so much. In the comics, Dr. Fate could solo Black Adam easy. Would be almost like no contest. But obviously, it's Dwayne The Rock Johnson's movie, so they weren't going to have him get bodied by one of the JSA members. So I get that, but I thought they did a good job in setting up why he could have held back in some regards, maybe to try and pull Black Adam in as a hero. I just didn't think he had to be nerfed to that extent. And I think Pierce Brosnan did a great job. I just would have loved to see more of his powers. I liked what we saw at the end with his battle with Sabak. I wish we saw more of it, but obviously, again, it's one of those things. I said there's a lot to be desired from the movie, and that's one of the things. I liked Dr. Fate. I thought he was nerfed a little bit too much. I would like to see him explored more, so that's kind of a negative. And I will say this as my last negative. The Superman cameo. I know Henry Cavill has recently just spoke about it. It was such a short cameo, but it leaves a lot for the future of Superman. One of the things I don't hope they continue to use is the John Williams theme. Good Lord, please let that theme die out. Just keep it in the past. I love it, by the way, but I don't think it matches the times that we're in. The times that we're in is very more encapsulated by the Hans Zimmer theme. And it's just the Superman for today's generation. And Henry Cavill spoke about that. So I know he wanted to arouse those emotions for people watching. Yeah, make me some rice with the putty. I know he wanted to arouse some nostalgic emotions with Superman with that theme, but I think it only did it for the old generation. Remember, they tried to do this with Justice League, and it didn't have the effect. So I think going forward, I would hope they use the Hans Zimmer theme. I mean, even if they used both, I'm fine. I will take that as a compromise. Use both themes, but your theme, Henry Cavill, is the Hans Zimmer theme. He did comment on it and say, it was great and everything, but I think he's stuck in the past. And I think with Superman, we need to move forward. Where do we go with here? Where do we go from here in terms of Superman? Now, there's already people speculating that there's people speculating that a director has been cast already for Superman. Christopher McQuarrie has been rumored. David Yates, who did the Harry Potter movies, has been rumored. I actually think David Yates, out of all the directors Christopher McQuarrie and David Yates seem to be people I'd be interested in, to be honest. But Zack Snyder the other day sent in a video suggesting that, hey, I can't wait to work with you in the future. How exciting would that be for a Man of Steel 2 to come out and Zack Snyder be helming it again? I think that would be amazing. So if you have been living under the rock, Henry Cavill recently just stepped away from his role as The Witcher, which is crazy because that is something he fought for, something he said he'd dedicate all of his time to for like 7 seasons, but he stepped away, seemingly to take up the role of Superman and move forward and fast-track a Superman movie. So I am excited about that. What's a little bit more controversial is the fact that James Gunn and Peter Safran have now taken over the role of kind of leaders of the DC universe. And, you know, if you look at my Twitter, I already said my piece about it. I do think DC needs a leader right now, and James Gunn, if I had to choose between The Rock and James Gunn, I would rather choose James Gunn. Why? Is because The Rock would have just made the universe all about him. Okay, I'll make some for lunch. Okay? Let me make this video first. But yeah, it just seems like there is a battle that's going to come with the Justice League and Black Adam, and I would rather someone in charge make it so that Black Adam wasn't the center of the DC universe, if you know what I mean. Because I do think The Rock is very narcissistic in that way, but I am a fan of the guy, don't get me wrong. So, anyways, that is my short ramble. I'm still feeling with the symptoms of the COVID, so I'm going to go get some rest now. I'll be in Disneyland later this week. Maybe I'll make some videos from there for this guy's birthday. And yeah, let me know what you guys thought of Black Adam in the comments below. Sorry for the very late video. Hope to catch up with you guys soon. Peace.